Hello, Angela. How are you, my friend?
Hello, thank you so much for this opportunity.
Oh my gosh, you are welcome. I'm so glad you are here. And you guys, for those of you that don't know, Angela is making it into the four-figure a month club. Woo! Oh my
I
gosh,
am so excited.
I'm so excited for you. So tell us about the journey for you. What has it been like?
Okay, so the journey with you has been amazing. So I just want to say kudos to you, Joanne, because prior to even meeting you, I tried to do it on my own in my local community of San Diego, California. I was trying to go brick and mortar, and I failed miserably and went through my little savings, and I just had a lot of self-doubt. What am I doing? Am I ever going to get, to where I want to be? So anyway, on the process of just kind of searching, I found you. It was just that
Hmm.
simple. I found you. You were out there. And then I immediately enrolled in the Jumpstart class. So
Hmm.
for me, it all started with Jumpstart and the friendships that have happened. People really in this community really want to see you succeed. They really do. And I think the gem for me is when you told your people in the class that you have to stop comparing your
Hmm.
journey with other people's journey, because that's what I was doing. And
Yeah.
I saw a lot of my colleagues, and they were making it, they were getting there so much quicker. But, I had little ones and I had a family, and I couldn't put in all the work, but I was putting in little bits of work every day, just like you said. So you might not be a marathon, you might have to just kind of walk. And over the course of that year, before you know it, just putting in, even at a walking pace, but just put in the work. And before you know it, I was getting clients from different places, whether I advertised or paid for it or however, there's lots of ways they filter in. But
Hmm.
that's been my journey. And yes, I am in this club. So yay.
Woo-hoo! Yay! And so, what was the big deciding factor for you when you decided to join the Insider Secrets Club?
For me, I knew I wouldn't do it on my own. Like, time is, I would just put it towards something else, whether it's my family, helping them. I'm just that person, right? So I always feel kind of guilty putting myself before my family. So then I realized once I knew that if I could do your course and get into the Insider Club, and I might not be live with you all because you're in, CST and EST time, and I'm over here on the coast, California coast, PST time. And so for me, I couldn't do those hours because I was homeschooling my son. But the fact that they're in the library, and
Hmm.
then I could go back and look at it in my pace, that's what sold it for me, is that I didn't have to attend all the lives, even though I know I would love it. But they don't always fit. So I don't want people to be discouraged. If the live times don't fit and Joanne's schedule doesn't fit, you have access to it, to
Hmm.
watch it at your pace So anyway, that's what did it for me, as um, I needed that library. And then
Hmm.
I also I needed the mastermind. So I'm
Yeah.
going to tell you that I know it's revamped itself. That's phenomenal as well. But I needed that collaboration
Yeah.
to bounce ideas off of. And I really needed that accountability, like, ooh, it's share time. So what am I going to share? Like I needed that accountability. So that's why the Insider Club is phenomenal.
Yeah, and it does keep you on track, like to remember like what your goals and your missions are. It
Yep.
is amazing how quickly the weeks go by. Have you
Yes.
noticed?
Yes.
The weeks
Fly.
they fly by, and you're like, okay, what did I do? What do I have to show for it?
Yes.
And if that becomes our story for too many weeks in a row, it starts to become harder and harder for us to get students. And so when we're
Right.
continually on top of it, it definitely helps. So whose mastermind have you been a part of?
Well, before you revamped, okay, so I have stick with Esme
Okay.
in Instagram. And then I was starting to kind of pop over. Well, I was going to pop over to the others because they're wonderful and I want to do them all. And I loved that they just said, pick one at a time.
Yep.
and master that one. So I really love that advice, because I finally, my schedule changed and I was working. So I'm like, oh my goodness, I have this time and I don't want to waste it. And so then I was going to go like, okay, this is my marathon speed time, not my walking speed time. But I loved what, what they all were recommending, which is just take one, really master it, meet your goals in that one. And so for me, my goal is, even though I feel like I have a handle on Instagram, and I do need to be more. So there's more goals that I can do with Instagram,
Right.
being more consistent. I also definitely want to get a client from there. And so even though I almost had one, they were in Singapore. So PST time, there was no way that was going to work out for either of us. But it was awesome that it happened.
Yeah.
I mean, it did happen, but so somebody did reach out. But my goal is to actually to see one all the way through and to actually get a client from there. And I haven't met that goal. So I'm like, you're right. I'm going to stick with this mastermind, complete my goals in that one. And then, like you said, go to the others that you're offering. So it's all good.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the problems that we have as tutors. We get these brilliant ideas, and then we go soaring with them, and then we get another brilliant idea, we go soaring on it, and then we get another brilliant idea, and we go soaring on that one. But we don't bring things to completion to get the results that we want, right? And then we get disappointed because we have like this fit of starts and stops, and it doesn't bring us where we want to be. So yeah, that was why we had that advice of, look, just stick with one mastermind group, one goal that you want to focus on, and see where that takes you. And I'm so glad that you did have somebody reach out to you from Singapore. Like, that must have felt amazing when you're like, oh my gosh, it's so cool. I remember my first person that reached out to me from really far away was Australia. And I was like, what? I will move heaven and earth to work with you. Like, that's awesome.
What I wanted to do. That's what I was like, okay, so wait a minute. It's my first one. Like, am I going to get up at 3 a.m? Like,
no.
Should I, so no. Yes, I was going through the whole thing because I'm feeling like, but they reached out and they were my first one. And I was telling my husband and, my kids, and they were just like, that is so cool. And I'm like, but realistically, guys, like, I couldn't keep that momentum.
No.
Like, I couldn't keep doing that. And so anyway, but yes, it was pretty exciting. And so now I'm hoping to, have somebody that can actually, work in that, within our time frame. But yeah, always shooting for goals, like you said, what are the goals? What does it mean for you to be, competent or proficient in that medium, whether it's Instagram or Facebook or YouTube or whatever that medium is for you? Just like you said, what does that look like? What are the goals around that? And then sticking with it. Cause I wanted to bounce out. Honestly, like I was like, you know what? I've been going with, I've been trying this for, almost a year. I think it's not going to happen for me. And then, Esme was like, well, I was working on it longer than that. And what about consistency? Like, go look and see how often. So it was awesome to be truthful too. Like, okay, but really look at it, not just, oh, I tried it and I've been doing it for a year, but how consistently have you been doing it? Because, I guess for Instagram, that's really important is, parents or people want to see you consistently.
Yeah.
And so
it really is important, that consistency. And in the beginning, it's not like we can hire on a team of people to be consistent for us. So like we have to be the ones that are being consistent in that realm and give it the best that we've got and be honest with ourselves. Like how well are we doing it? And, there's so many aspects too of social media that people don't take into consideration, when it comes to, engaging. It's not just about like putting out content, but it's engaging with other people's content. Right. And putting the time on in that, one time I thought that my sign on my car didn't work. I was like, gosh, like when
Me too.
I've got the sign. I had the sign for like 5 years on my car. It was my old car. I have a new car now, but I had the sign on there and, it said, Skype reading tutor. And I was like, gosh, like, I don't really have too many people like really reaching out to me. And then one day I like sat back and I thought, Joanne, you are working with so many people in your neighborhood. Oh. Is that a mistake? No, they know about you because you're driving around in the car all day long, right? And they see your car all of the time in your neighborhood. It would be in my neighborhood or surrounding neighborhoods. I have less of those people now because I don't have the car. And so sometimes we don't realize, I think, some of the marketing efforts and the things that we're doing, how they are working. Because if someone's like, oh yeah, I Googled you, we just think, oh, they just found us on Google. But we don't say, how many different ways did you see me? You know what I mean? Like, did you see other marketing, or did you just like type in like reading tutor near me and then I came on up and some of the other companies came on up? Or, we don't really ask those kinds of questions to kind of dig deeper, but people do need to see us 7 to 10 times before they're ready to move forward with us. And I think this is absolutely huge, that we don't give up and that people have the opportunity to see us in some of these different methods that you're trying. And when people research you, I'm sure that Esme's talked about this too. When people research you, they'll start finding your stuff that you're creating.
Yeah. And don't, like you said about the car thing, even if it took 2 years or whatever, that's what I mean. Like having the patience, because I haven't ever really been a patient person, and it's just fighting through that doubt too. Like, that's the biggest, I think for me, the biggest hurdle was doubting everything, Joanne, really in this jumpstart class, like really can this happen? Because I had a failed business already. So that was the doubt. But then knowing that, you had all these other people, you can literally see it. So once you're seeing it in other people, it might not be happening to you right then, but you're seeing it in other people. So I'm like, okay, I'm a believer. And then it's the constant, like you said, just doubting, is this strategy working or is this strategy working? You have to have your eggs in, like, as far as marketing goes.
Yeah.
You have to have your eggs in all the baskets, and it just might not come right then, but down the road, you're like, oh yeah, I posted this a while, or I got this sign a couple, years ago. Cause that happened with me too. I'm like, yeah, Mom, thanks for, she was really gracious and she bought my signs for my car. And I'm like, well, I didn't even make my money back on that sign. But like 6 months later, a mom just stopped me. I was on my way to pick up a pizza from my kids at Costco, and she just stopped me, and I've had that client. So it was well worth it, even though that it was sitting on my car for, maybe a year. Yeah. So you just never know when and where. So just be ready. You just have to be ready.
Oh my gosh, I love your attitude. I love it. And I could see you moving into the 5-figure a month world. It's absolutely possible for you.
I'm so blessed. I'm just so blessed to be here, because my other club I'm making more than I was.
Yay!
Being a classroom teacher, because I was at a private school, and I understand. I mean, that's one of the things you do. It's I went from public school to private school. You do take a pay cut. Because you're either, for me, it was on the back end, my kids' tuition was being reduced. So the money that I was taking home hourly was a lot different than my husband, who's also a teacher. So for me, my goal was like, I want to get to where he was, to where I was before I jumped out, and had kids and everything. So I am making more than I was at the school, and I'm not being controlled by district curriculum, what they say, all of that. So it's just great. So for me, it was also the job thing. Like, I'm making more than what I was, and I have more control over my time and how I work with kids. And it's just awesome. I'm living the dream.
That's amazing. You are. I know. Do you pinch yourself? Like when you wake up, you're like, oh my gosh, like I get to do this every day.
I get to do this every day. Yeah. This is my first school year, because, the kids are back at school, and, so I'm seeing the normalcy of their lives. And then this is like, I'm really reflecting, like, I'm at home, I'm getting my errands done. I pop in, and everything's not perfect. You know what I mean? There's no perfect schedule, but I can tell you what, you pick and choose your battles, and I am loving this life.
Yes. This is what it was meant to be, you guys.
So thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, you are welcome. This is why I keep showing up, guys. Like, it's because of this. When I get to see you guys, like, I remember where I was when I was leaving. I just wanted to replace my $50,000 a year income, because I was like, that was my beginning goal. When I heard people saying things like, you can have a 6-figure business and blah, 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 like, Like that wasn't even in my thought process at all. I was just like, who cares? I have a 6-figure business. I'd rather do what I love doing and help kids and than have a 6-figure business. And now I've flipped that on around, and now I have 2 6-figure businesses. And so that just like floors me that was even a possibility, because I came from that same place of, look, I just want to replace my income, to now it being, you know what, now how can I serve people even more? How can I serve people better? How can I, you know, reach the people that I'm meant to reach, so that they can reach the dreams that they are meant to reach.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, you're welcome.
You know, for dreaming big. And like I said, you know, for me, where I'm at right now, I just feel super blessed. Like you said, I completed that one mission. When I first met you in Jumpstart, you said, what is the hourly rate? How many do you need? I mean, you were so specific, and I'm just like kind of guessing. Okay, all right, let me just do the calculator. Okay, what is it going to be? And then, you know, you reach it, and you're like, okay, so I've reached that goal. And now what? Exactly. Because I started out on the real low end, but I felt like I had to, because despite everybody, what you were saying, I just felt like, this is how much I was making in the classroom. I can't really charge families for it. And then your mindset grows, and you're like, wait a minute, but that's a district budget. That's not your budget. That's not your worth. And so you just kept pouring in, and Esme, and just people. And then you see, and granted, it's not about the money. It's about your self-worth. And I just wasn't there yet. I was just like, well, I'm here. This is, you know, I just want to charge what I would, you know, so you just start out with your little dreams, you know, and then eventually your confidence grows, and your dreams and your goals get bigger.
Yeah. And it's not greed. It's not any of those kinds of things. No. Like when people start taking a look at that, you know, like, oh, you're just greedy. You want this. And it's like, no, it's understanding your value. It's understanding. We know that teachers are completely underpaid as a profession. And so how can we flip that on its head and bring it you know, if we don't ask what we're worth, nobody's just going to hand that money over to us, right? So we've got to figure that out and do that work. So for other people, like they're going through Jumpstart, or they've been through Jumpstart, and they're thinking about the Insider Secrets Club, what advice would you give them about taking the next step in their journey?
The next step in their journey is, so after the Jumpstart, is you're going to, I'm just going to lay it out there. Unless you are just highly motivated and you just and you're just that person, then maybe you would just need the ultimate support group. You know, it's just filled with so many people, and it's so much for me. It's like a little overwhelming for me, because I learn best in smaller groups or smaller cohorts of people. That's my learning style. But I would say for the majority of people out there, you need accountability. You need to build relationships, and just be around like-minded people. That's how you grow. And that's what Insiders Group is. I can't tell you the phenomenal, I can list the people of the relationships, you know, colleagues, true colleagues that I feel like I have in this, because of Insider Club, because I was taking little classes with them, or just watching them grow through social media, and keeping connected through my Jumpstart friends. So I would tell you that that propels you to the next level. That Insiders Club. And even though, and I know it is, especially starting out, it was for me, it was expensive, because you got to know your budget, your, especially when you don't have clients at first. You know, that was me. I didn't come in with anything. So it was coming out of budget. But I'm going to tell you that it pays off. And it's worth it. And even today, I mean, I've been an Insider. I took Jumpstart, you know, a couple, you know, maybe a year and a half, maybe 2 years. The time just flies. I'm sorry, I don't know exactly. But I will tell you that I did have those doubts, like, oh my goodness. But I'm telling you, the education you're still getting, the mastermind by itself pays for itself.
Right.
Let alone the relationships you're building, and the people that are like, hey, I've seen your stuff. Do you know how many referrals I've gotten by people that have just been so amazing, wanting me to succeed, and saying, hey, I've seen your stuff, and I want to send you over somebody because I'm fully booked.
Yeah.
How beautiful is that? How, I
Right?
mean, I want to do that someday. That's what it's about. I mean, you can't just hold on to everything. Eventually, you get there, and it's like the beauty of knowing people and saying, "Yep, I trust this person." I've been around them. I know them. I know their work. So, it is so worth it on so many levels, Joanne.
Oh
So
my
thank you so
gosh.
much for the insider. Like I said, the insider group to me is worth every penny. The mastermind, being accountable to Esme, my Instagram guru, that alone, she has me so motivated to get a client that way, and it's so worth it.
I
Definitely so worth
love
it.
it. Oh my gosh. And you
Thank you.
deserve to be in our 4 Figure a Month club. And I'm making more money than my last job club. did
Yes.
it, yay. And
Thank
that's the
you.
goal, right? Like I know that as teachers, we don't want to think about like money as like the end game or any of that kind
Right.
of stuff, but we do have to live.
We
We
have to feed our
do.
families too.
Right. And so, these are great accomplishments, and I'm
Thank you.
so proud of you. Your energy has been amazing, and I just love being able to. Everybody's just saying some amazing stuff inside of the chat here, that they've loved having you part of the programs, that you've got awesome goals, and all this great, incredible stuff here. So thank you for joining us and sharing. You're going to be
Thank
such
you.
an inspiration for so many people. So thank you for taking the time to share your story with us.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you and everybody, that's part of this special group. It
Yeah.
really is a very special group, the insiders groups on many
Yeah.
levels, and
Oh.
well worth it. Jumpstart, folks. Don't even doubt it. Don't even doubt it. You need this little extra support. You really do.
Yeah,
It makes a world of difference.
it really
So
does. You need a community. You need a
you
community of
do.
people that will
You
just
do.
support you through everything
Yes.
and know what you're
Yes.
going through. Yeah.
Yes. And the
Awesome.
vibes are so positive and incredible.
Yeah.
So
Because of people like you. I don't know what it is, but you guys like are absolutely every single person that I meet. I've never like met somebody in our group that I'm like, no, I don't really like them. No, I love everybody. You guys have such great dreams and great ideas and thoughts, and you elevate each other to a whole nother level. So thank you for being part of the community. Thank you for
thank
joining us.
you.
And thank you guys on YouTube and Facebook who are listening to the amazing journeys that these tutors have taken in the Insider Secrets Club, and the thoughts that they had to go through their mind to get there to that next level. So hopefully you guys got a lot out of it.